Welcome to Engage,
where we are inspired by Jesus impacting our city and the world.
Living this way is an art form that is best when practiced together. We do this together by resisting apathy,
Welcoming everyone and making sure no one is left out.
participating in remedying the concerns of those around us and around the world.
Telling our stories, and just by actually being, eating, and doing life together.
We believe that every day is another chance to live by faith
Labor in love.
and endure with hope. Join us, create with us,
as we follow the brushstrokes of the Creator. Welcome to Engage. Have you ever asked, heard, or encountered a question that was meant to linger? A question that defied hasty answers. Maybe it bounced around in your mind for weeks or months or even years. These are the questions that hold such gravitas for us that any kind of quick response or a shift away from it actually disrespects the importance of the question. In the history of humanity, if there was ever a question like that, one meant to linger, this was the one. Those there on the day of Pentecost saw all that was happening, and in Acts 2:12 it says, amazed and perplexed, they asked one another, what does this mean? Now, the coming of the Holy Spirit, first in a wind and then in a fire. The Holy Spirit enabled them to do things they couldn't previously do. Even when Jesus was around, the Holy Spirit empowered them to share the good news with everyone, regardless of language, all about what Jesus had done and how, because of that, God's kingdom was truly on the way. But possibly, more than all of that, the Holy Spirit was God making this intentional choice to not just reside around us or beside us, but in and through us. God's presence with us and in us everywhere, all the time. I mean, it's one of the most impactful, wonderful, powerful moments ever. And the question comes along with it. What does this mean? But the question doesn't linger, in fact. In the text, it says that Peter sort of hastily intervenes, first to tell them that no one is drunk, which people wondered about. It's early in the morning, for goodness sake, Peter says, like, who would be drunk? And as all the morning drinkers are putting their wine away, like hiding their wine away, Peter goes on to try to attempt and explain these things. And this sermon is seen as one of the events that actually birthed the Christian church, as thousands came to follow Jesus that day. And now I'm not throwing shade on Peter's sermon or message that he gave that day. But what if Peter would have waited? And instead of immediately sermonizing, what if Peter would have given time, more time to linger on what is this day of Pentecost question? What does this mean? Because you see, it's in the lingering on what does this mean that we get to wonder why God would intentionally reveal a new understanding of God's presence in this way, the way of the Holy Spirit, the Spirit that resides within us everywhere all the time. See, there are many reasons that we can think of for Jesus's presence on earth, and it might be a gross oversimplification to say this, but for the sake of this Pentecost wondering, let's say that Jesus was here on earth to solve problems and to answer questions. Like, what would God be like in the flesh? Well, that question is answered in the person of Jesus. And then there's the problem of sin and death and how we can get to right relationship with God again. That question is answered. That problem is solved in the person of Jesus. So what if the coming of the Holy Spirit is somewhat the same? See, with the coming of the Holy Spirit, it seems that God is still answering these questions and still solving problems. And this is not so much God figuring things out, but instead, it seems, longing to reveal to us more and more about the true nature of her presence with us. As if God is saying, yes, after Jesus' teaching, death, resurrection, ascension, there is still more I have to say to you. There is still more to reveal to you in terms of how close I actually am, how close I long to be to you. It's a personal story that I share about too much, but Mother's Day is always a difficult one for me because I lost my mom 12 years ago to cancer. Some people say as they get further away from these catastrophic moments in their life that they make peace with it. I do not. You can find me every Mother's Day raging against this whole situation. I think about my mom. I think about her death. I think about the sickness. I think about all the things surrounding that situation. And what reverberates from all that thinking is the same question. Where were you, God? What were you doing? And if the presence of Jesus and the presence of the Holy Spirit can answer questions and solve problems, then it seems that the Jesus angle at answering that question would be, I took care of it. I took care of it. Like your mom is taken care of. She was a Christian. She believed in Jesus. So it's taken care of. She is in heaven with Jesus. I don't have to worry about that. Now that is very true. The Holy Spirit angle at answering this question seems to be a bit different. And it might say something like this. In every single moment of her sickness, every tear, every twinge of pain, everything she felt, I felt, everybody around that situation felt, every single moment, not only was God there, but God was inhabiting every moment in an active and intricate way. So present there in each moment, in each person, that I couldn't even understand it. Now, does that kind of presence, beyond my understanding, does it answer the questions that I have? No, just like it might not answer all the questions that you have. But if we linger there a bit longer on this Pentecost Sunday, can we agree that isn't it good to know that there is a God who isn't just content to say, I took care of it back then, don't you know? Look at what Jesus did. So we're good now. So you don't have to worry, like it's taken care of. Now that, I'm not saying that's not true. I believe that it is. But instead, the message of this Holy Spirit coming seems to be that God is still stepping closer, trying to impart to us a sense of presence that might be beyond us to understand, a presence that inhabits and is active in our every movement, our every thought, our every footstep, fear, triumph. So my question for you is, what is it that you're going through today? And what does it mean to you to know that God is stepping closer? Still stepping closer in that very issue that you're facing. Not turning her face away in any way, but instead working in every detail in ways so intricate that we can't even see, feel, or sense it sometimes. Doesn't make it easier to go through. But the message of Pentecost Sunday seems to be that God is still stepping closer. And it might just be the best way for us to celebrate this Pentecost Sunday, to linger a bit longer on the question that didn't get a chance to linger long that day. The Holy Spirit abides in you, in us. The question, what does that really mean to you?